Hello and welcome back to the Masonic Roundtable, a weekly program where Masons from around the world get together to talk about Masonic news and opinions in a friendly and social manner. As a reminder, the thoughts and opinions expressed here are solely the opinions of the participants and do not represent any Grand Lodge statements or positions. Make sure you keep your conversations open for the public and on the level. We love seeing you every week on Thursday nights in Facebook and YouTube land. Chats are always fun, and remember, your chat may show up in the show. And if you can't catch us live, catch us in the replay or in your favorite podcasting app. You know me, John Ruark, past master of the Patriot Lodge, number 1957, in good old Fairfax, Virginia. Next up, Jason Richards. Hello and good evening. You're on mute.
It's good old Clifton, Virginia.
Good old Clifton, Virginia. That's where you're from.
That was like the first 6 years of our show.
It was.
Hey everybody, Jason Richards, past master of Vacation Lodge, number 16 in Clifton, Virginia. And
good old Clifton, Virginia.
Fuck off. Member of Lafayette Lodge, number 79, under the Grand Lodge of Ohio in Zanesville, Ohio. Glad to be here.
Glad to have you. Awesome. Next up, good old Joe Martinez.
Oh, hello. Let's see, Joe Martinez, past master of Manassas Lodge, number 182, in good old Manassas, Virginia. And as always, damn glad to be here.
Alrighty.
Good old Manassas. Yeah.
Last but not least, good old.
As for that, I'm nominating you as master for next year's line.
I will be gone.
That would be a wild meeting to attend.
Posting on Zillow immediately.
I'll bring the popcorn.
Oh man, Robert Johnson, past master Space Novum, past master of Waukegan 78, and secretary of all the things. So happy to be here. Happy to talk about this cool topic, which is always kind of misunderstood. So this should be good.
Foreshadowing.
Yes. Well, what do we? So hold on. Actually, I'll find the quote. Carry on.
Carry on. All right. Let's see. I want to give a special shout out to the patrons who support the show. You guys are amazing. We love you. And
We do
thank
love you.
Patreon.com/the Masonic Roundtable if you want to support the show and free Masonic education for many years to come, or 2040, whichever comes first.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see. Prove me wrong. And also, we have this thing coming up called Esotericon. Right?
Ooh.
That's going to be huge. Tell us about Esotericon, Joe.
Oh, hi, Esotericon. So I'm sure you're going to put the URL in the chat, but Esotericon, this will be our 6th time in 7 years. And we are again meeting in the Northern Virginia area. And yeah, it is a esoteric conference open to all, not exclusive to Masons, but anybody who's a seeker. A lot of the folks that go are Masons or members of other organizations. And it is a fabulous time where we all get together for the weekend and talk esotericism and listen to some amazing speakers like you're going through them now. Billy Hamilton and Kevin Homan, Jamie Paul Lamb, Robert Johnson, Jason Richards. Who am I missing?
I'm speaking.
Well, you're on the web page, so got to throw you out there. And we just announced our keynote speaker. That would be Brother Ike Baker.
Woo!
So yeah, should be fun. I feel like I'm missing somebody, but we'll remember. But anyway, it's a good time. A lot of friends there. All 4 hosts of the Masonic Roundtable will be there. And we look forward to seeing you on June 19th and 20th.
It's going to be fun. It's going to be
Yes.
back.
Yeah, and just to throw this out there, you guys, everybody listening, is probably no surprise that I'm going to say what I'm going to say. I always say you make time for what you want to do. And you get a lot of guys who like wait till the last minute and then they go, oh my God, it's on Father's Day weekend. It couldn't possibly. It's your day. Yes, you can. It's your day. And if somebody buys you a grill for Father's Day, they can put it together and they can cook you dinner. because it's your day,
Man,
right?
love
And you're going to
everything
come to
that's happening right
Esotericon. You're going to come to
I didn't
Esotericon.
ask for a grill.
Nobody
I-
does.
Or
I
socks.
Put that evil on me, Jethro.
to go to Esotericon.
That's right. Send your significant other over to esotericon.net, and that's what you want for Father's Day. And then you say, and you're going to give me these tickets, and you're going to leave me alone that day. Don't text me or nothing.
Lofty goals. Lofty
Yeah.
goals.
Yeah, good. Try it out. See what happens.
Yep.
I do it every year, and it
Your
works.
Have
mileage
your
may vary.
significant other buy you 2 tickets so that you can bring somebody you like.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Yeah, you can bring your wife, you can bring your girlfriend. Don't bring both.
at the same time.
I mean, that was not at all where I was going with that, but
I
okay.
know, but I'm sorry.
It's good to get the band back together here. This is fun. Good. So Esotericon, we got that covered. That's exciting, and it'll be here before you know it. And then the next thing up is our favorite section, which is always
Tarot card of the week.
Starting to grow on me, that's all. Yes.
Be
Like
Still
a fungus.
my beating heart.
Be still my heart.
All right, this week we're back to the Everyday Hero Tarot deck
Hooray!
off of the Kickstarter. And we have the 3 of Coins.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Very industrious.
Yes.
Yes.
You're getting
is-
there. You're getting there.
Doing the work.
Which is actually kind of cool because as it ties into the show, this is also the mentor card, right? It's teamwork makes the dream work.
That is correct.
Mm-hmm.
That was-
Thanks,
that was-
Chris Farley.
Yeah, I'm so glad you picked that up.
Yeah, so that's certainly a good one for brotherly love because as we are working in the quarries, we certainly have to rely on our mentors, both ritualistic and fraternal mentors, to get us through. So yay,
Boom.
brotherly love for the win.
Mhm.
So let's talk about it. Let's talk about brotherly love. This week's episode was supposed to be Valentine's Day week, but things got in the way. We're all busy people. And so I said, hey, such a good topic. I know we all have lots of opinions about it and wanted to pull the Valentine's Day love theme into this thing that we say we espouse so much in Masonry, which is brotherly love. But what is brotherly love? We kind of leave it a little loosely defined, and then we get tripped up by Jason's motions. But yeah, so we'll talk about different versions of love, what they mean, what they could mean into the fraternity, and then the different levels that we may have for fraternal regards for our fellow man and Mason.
Yeah,
Yeah,
brotherly love means you never stop at just a tip.
You pay them more than the tip. Yes.
So earlier I said that there's always some sort of a mistranslation, or like people tell us the wrong things. And James Buckhorn does a great presentation on like how to address not perpetuating the same stories you were told just because you were told them. It's up to you to correct those things. And this is just so kind of serendipitous because last week on WCY, I read this pamphlet from the 1950s on the SRICF, from college of Chicago College. And it says the objectives of the society are as follows. I'm just going to read you the first one because it's interesting, right? It says to consider, examine, and record all such matters as may come within the purview of the philosophy of Freemasonry and those sciences embraced in it, as also those sciences which are akin thereto, with the purpose, here comes the purpose, to obtaining verified truth in place of traditional error, and reconciling any apparent discrepancies between history, myths, legends, philosophy, and sciences is embraced in the study of Freemasonry. So it's interesting, right? Because what we're doing tonight is we're going to dive into those things and sort of correct traditional errors that you might have had.
That'll be fun. Awesome. No, that's a great context and good episode, by the way. That was a good episode.
Thank you.
I think the first place to start would be to define what do we mean by love, right? Before we even get to brotherly love, because
Charity.
the English language
It means
is certainly just charity. That's just all it means. The English language has few words for love, quite a few adjectives to enhance the word, but also when you look at other languages, they have more than one word for love, which can give us a little bit more context to the different types of affection we have towards each other. So why don't we kind of go around robin and start with whoever one floats your boat, and we'll dive in there. So I know Joe is a handler of Greek words.
Handler.
I was going to use fondler, but I decided not to.
Well, see, in English we have several words that mean touchy, fondling, touching, handling.
Right. That's why I went with handling.
Yeah,
So.
and that's okay.
Massaging.
But yes, let's bring it back to maturity land. And
never.
Yes. So yeah, John's right. The Greeks have many different words for love. Latin a little less so, but specifically we get our different types of love that we talk about from the Greeks. And I guess the easiest one to start with is
Eros.
philia.
Oh.
No, we're gonna start with philia, which is easily translated to brotherly love, right? This is the one that everybody quotes, and this is the one that everybody uses. But it means a little bit more than that. I mean, it goes all the way back to Aristotle, who wrote a lot about philia, right, in his ethics and things like that. But philia is the love of friendship, right? It's loyalty, it's shared values, it's mutual respect for one another, things that should be going off in a Mason's brain, right? It's the love between comrades or brothers in arms or even brothers in lodge, right? So it means a little bit more than that really vapid brotherly love that we use. And I think honestly, a lot of Masons throw that term brotherly love around kind of vapidly and kind of surface level, right? And I think that's what we're going to get into today. But it really is, it's the highest form of virtuous friendship, right? It's like where a group of people, or at least I hope, love the good in one another, right? And want to push each other to be better, right? And that's kind of the model that we're supposed to follow in Masonry, right? Not just, hey, we hang out together, or hey, we agree politically when we're out in the parking lot, or things like that. It's
more than acquaintances, right?
Yeah, well, even more than what comes after acquaintances. It's not just I have affection for you. It's I want you to become a better person, and I'm going to hold you accountable while loving you, right? So that's as high as we can take philia. But again, and I think you were hinting at this before, John. It's not even used that way inside a lodge.
Exactly. Yeah, I think some other definitions that I pulled for philia, brotherly love. That's why I always go back to like Philadelphia. It's the city of brotherly love. And some of the additions to what Joe said I like here are mutual recognition, shared commitments, and chosen companionship. So I like those as modifiers to what Joe said, because it's on a sense of equality, which is again a Masonic virtue, and sustained through trust and honesty, holding each other at that level, holding ourselves accountable to each other, right? It implies a you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours kind of shared commitment towards whatever goal we're all trying to get to. So that's cool. Mhm.
Good job.
Do you guys want to add anything to that, or because we can move on to the next one?
Well, yeah, I was just gonna like make the same comment about Philadelphia and like the Philia is directly in that, but I think something else that I thought was interesting about this is I always I struggle between thinking about brothers in lodge between Philia and maybe we can do the next one with this Philia and then Storge.
Right.
So
Mhm.
Storge to me always felt more, I think, in line with how I want my lodge relationships to be, um, and only because I feel like Storge is more like familial. Uh, but I, yeah, that's all.
No, I mean you're 100% correct. I mean, storge literally means familial affection, right? It's a natural affection. It's one that develops over time through shared lives. So it is, to your point, it is different than philia, right? It's
And well, maybe we start off in Philia, and I guess maybe I think about Storge because I think about like say at Waukegan 78. That's my mother lodge. The guys that either went through degrees with me or were part of bringing me through the degrees have been there for me for 18 years. So I think where you really keyed on it there. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe that's why I like it, because 18 years of building a relationship,
Right.
that sort of familial, natural affection that I feel with those brothers.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which
Yeah,
is
no,
interesting.
oh, sorry, John.
I was just going to say, like, it is confusing at first because, well, aren't your brothers your family? So brotherly love and familial love, but I think I like the way you said it. It's taking it just up a notch, one more notch on the kinship, right? Truly feeling that they are your literal brother,
Mm-hmm.
and you would, even for a stranger, you would do something for them as if they were your actual kin. They lived in your house, right? And so you're ratcheting up that compassion for them beyond just the you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours.
Well, it's
Not
yeah,
just
it's
your homies.
Not just your homies.
right. Well, I mean, it literally comes from, people only want to equate it to family, like siblings or cousins and stuff like that. But it literally comes from shared experiences together. And to your point, it doesn't have to be a shared experience that you sat in the same room with, right? Like we have a shared kinship with all those people who have gone through the same process of initiation that we have, right? Even if we've never met them before, right? But we've done the same labor, we've struggled through the same things, right? I think the way I've heard it described best is that you don't manufacture storge, you accumulate it over time, right? So as you go through those same life experiences and have those commonalities with people, you accumulate storge with one another, right? So I think for masonry, I think it's super entrenched in our idea of brotherly love.
Another description here that I have is storge is the type of bond found between dog owners and their dogs, right? And
our
so
disdain for cat owners.
yeah, potentially.
Yes.
No, the thing that came to mind to relate those definitions are companionship, right? Truly having a companion is different than a friend or a brother, right? It's someone who is dependable, loyal, shared experiences, all that stuff. So it's just a little bit more through. I like the way you put it. It's it's kind of, I wouldn't say earned over time, but it has developed over time.
Yeah, that was something that made it click a little better for me. So thanks, Joe and John. Not Jason though.
Namaste. Yay. Which one are we going to next?
We've also got Eros.
Yeah. That's the root of erotic.
Wow.
Yeah, I
But
mean,
that's not what it means.
no, it isn't, right? It's just passionate.
Mm-hmm. Well, say more about passion then.
Oh, well. Yeah, no, Eros is the what became the Cupid was originally called Eros, right? Little cherub, little chubby dude with an arrow. But Eros is absolutely misunderstood by most people. And if you go all the way back to Plato in I think it was Symposium, talks a lot about Eros, and it has nothing to do with romantic, sexual, erotic love. Nothing. He doesn't say one single thing about that, right? He describes Eros as someone's longing for beauty or truth or those objective things out in the world, or basically the love of good itself, right? So it's definitely the most aspirational type of love, right? It's like but to RJ's point and Jason's point, even with his fun hand puppets, it's hunger, right? It's a passionate hunger for something, right? It's Eros in our context is what brings someone upward, right? It's that longing for knowledge or love or something else or something to aspire to. It's that desire to be better than you are for the sake of other people, right? It's that dissatisfaction that some of us have, not all of us, but it's that dissatisfaction with just towing the line or be mediocre, right? So,
Yeah.
super important for us, right? Because if you are hanging out with a group of dudes that are your brothers that you say you love and they don't share your same hunger for growth or being aspirational, it's kind of hollow and fake at the end of the day, you know?
Yeah.
Eros is what takes a lodge and turns it from a social club into a place to build your character, right? And it's a super powerful way of looking at love. Yeah, I really like. I think RJ said it before, that passion or that longing bonds you together.
Yeah. What is interesting, I think, is something that you were kind of, maybe you were thinking it, maybe you weren't, but it felt like you were dancing around the idea. One of the comments earlier from our YouTube, Joey Martin 764, he said, "As iron sharpens iron, so one man sharpens another." And I really feel like, outside of studying the ritual and the philosophy of masonry, when guys say, "Oh, it's for the brotherhood," I don't know if they know it, but I feel like that, what Joey Martin said, is maybe what they mean or what they feel, right? I always go back to something Greg Knott said. He's one of the hosts over at the Meat Act and Part podcast, and I was talking to him one day about scouting because I really didn't understand, like, I never joined the Scouts. I don't know, right? And I didn't really understand it, and I had some questions and stuff. And he said, "Robert, you got to understand, we're not making these guys better because we're teaching them how to tie knots. We're making these kids better with the conversations we have with them while they're tying knots." And it clicked, and I feel the same way about ritual.
Yeah, if done right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, some other definitions here for Eros that I have. I kind of like. Eros tends to be energized by desire and imagination, so it is often stabilized by vows, habits, and shared life structures that convert intensity into fidelity. So it's tamed passion, I guess, is another way to put that, right? It's something that, passion is a weird thing too, because you can be passionately in love with someone and passionately irate, right? It's evoking the emotions, right? Often why, sometimes it's like if you've never really been really mad with your significant other, then you can't say you really love them, because there's almost the same source of passion that tends to grow, right? So you can control it into an Eros fidelity thing, or it can just continue to burn off and be,
when you said
over the top.
when you said intensity, what I heard was Werner Herzog. Intensity.
Intensity.
Great name, by the way, Joey
Well, and-
Martin. We can be friends.
Oh, it's true. Look at that. I didn't even think about it.
Well, and to me, it really brings up, a connection as like a seeker, right? Like the passion and zeal that you have for better understanding the world around you, and
That's so, like, it almost feels like we miss it because we kind of forget some of the reasons why we're there. We all have that sort of passion, or maybe you would even call it eros for learning, right?
Yep.
This drive to like know more about your world and whatever the typical context is for why you're learning. But I feel like for a lot of Masons and peripheral groups, that passion, that eros for learning, it comes from a desire, another eros, right, for understanding the deity or becoming closer to the deity through understanding. And so that's spot
Well,
on.
I think you said something really poignant, and what's interesting is I know I used to be like this a lot more when I was younger and less wise, of course. But how bummed would you be when you sat with a bunch of dudes, especially in a lodge, and you already knew they didn't have that same passion or that same hunger, or it kind of just bummed you out. Like now I've gotten older and more chill about that kind of stuff. But, I remember back in the day, like, if someone would come and I was really excited to hear them do a program, like you're passionate about it. It's like, oh man, I'm going to shut up and I'm going to pay attention. I'm going to listen. Why the hell is that dude on his phone? Why are those two guys whispering? Nobody's paying attention. This sucks. And it just brings your energy down, right? Because they don't have that same hunger or desire that you do. And it's a super bummer.
Get out of my head 5 years ago.
I think we all could think of a time like that.
It took so long to kind of get, and that maybe that's an episode for the future, like Masonic maturity. What's that look like? Really? No, it doesn't mean your ritual. Maybe it means you're okay with people being where they are.
Touche. Touche.
Hey, Mr. Courtney, 1980, thanks for the super chat.
We love you.
Thank you, Mr. Courtney.
Oh, tight, man. Thank you.
Thank you.
Didn't want to forget that.
Thank you. I love you for that, Jason.
What kind of love?
All of them.
Oh,
all of them.
Damn.
Including agape.
Eros.
You got to bring up that stupid Masonic one.
The clincher right there, Joe. What's agape?
Well, agape, thank you for saying it correctly.
It's a dinner after a
terrible
lodge.
at that.
It's best of board.
It's not a gate.
Festive board.
A gape.
It's like,
No, that's later. That's back to Jason's hand puppets. Yes. So agape is different than the other three we've talked about, right? And
I don't think Robert's okay.
It's like I said, agape is different because it's probably the only one that is not reciprocal. And it's not an equal type of love, right? It's love that costs you something. Agape can be described as you're choosing to be benevolent towards another human being, right? And most, the early philosophers and theologians and things like that, they definitely treat agape as that highest form of love because it comes with sacrifice, right? It is completely sacrificial. There is nothing you gain of benefit in return. But like to that point, before we get to like the time of like early Christianity and stuff like that, hundreds of years earlier, agape meant having goodwill without reward at all whatsoever, right? So to your point, John, this is where brotherly love becomes pure action, right? This is just pure action. Agape shows up when you visit someone who is sick, or you loan money to someone who is never going to repay you, when you defend someone who is not there to defend themselves.
So would you call it like a philosophical verb? Or maybe not even philosophical, right?
I wouldn't call it philosophical. I'd say it's a pure action verb, right? Because you're literally losing a part of yourself in order to express this really strong emotion. To that point, it's another good example is when you give time or resources of yourself when you are just straight exhausted and you have nothing left. Another one, the big one that I think shows agape is, and we've all struggled with this, I sure as hell do, is when you support or defend a brother when you absolutely disagree with everything that they're about, right?
That's why we still have you.
No, that was it, man. That's the big one. It's not emotional, it's not passionate, it is literally generosity with discipline, and you get nothing in return.
So this whole sense of, and I took a note here, which is something you said, because in other lower forms of love here, we've talked about almost it's a kinship that's built, but it's been built through transactions, through loyalty, through kinship, through shared experiences. Here we're at a point of love where it is, and I wrote down what you said. It costs you something, but I added, but it's not transactional. It's not that I'm going to love you if you do something for me. It is one way, unidirectional.
Sacrificial.
So there's no reciprocity.
There's no reciprocity at all.
So this makes me change my opinion on things, which is good, right? It's great. Because I never really thought about the other as being transactional. I always feel like transactional is human nature, but is
quid pro quo.
But it's like, yeah, it's human nature, but at the same time, like my higher mind looks at it as trash. It's what trash people do.
Yeah, expecting something in return. Right. That's the lower base form of our human condition, is that I'm not going to do something for you unless I get mine.
Yeah.
And then when you get to that self-actualization, right, you climb up Maslow's hierarchy of needs, then you can actually give unconditionally. Also, I've heard agape expressed as like from a creator to its creation. It's more than maternal love. It's just the spilling out of everything you have, giving your whole self to this other person.
So that brings up a philosophical, interesting question, which is, if it's non-transactional, then you're giving up something to give. If it's like God's love, then it's essentially like God has given something of itself to, the consciousness or the, omega point or whatever you want to call it. And so there is a sacrifice there, but then I am left with almost a paradox, and in terms of like, you can't, like, God can't sacrifice because it is the all thing. But then again, you go back to who's the author of Dilbert? Did he just die?
Scott Adams.
Yeah, Scott Adams.
Scott Adams wrote a great book that I've talked about before called God's Debris. And in it, he talks about this really interesting concept, that God knew everything except for what it was like to not exist. So he basically self-destructs, creates consciousness and people, and each person is the living consciousness of the deity. And when they pass away, right, then they go back to essentially like this kind of the Gnostic idea of the pleroma, reforming. But it does bring up that really interesting idea of non-transactional, sacrificial. And so leaves me with the question, what does God sacrifice to create this?
Man, that is a seriously philosophical thread you were pulling there, and it's I think it's good, right? Because I think it puts a point on how we're trying to define agape, right? Agape is not emotional affection. It's not
No.
attraction, and it's not a need, right? Like we try to define it as goodwill that is self-giving, right? It is the choosing of good of the other, even
Right.
at personal cost, right? So to your point, I'm not
Yeah.
trying to answer your question because this
No.
I
question
get it. Well,
could
this,
be answered hard,
we're
but
philosophizing.
it's not. So my idea to answer your question is divine love is not based on need, right? Humans require that,
Yeah.
humans require things, back to your point, that you to get something, to give something, right? It's And to your point, yeah, most people believe that God is not lacking anything, right? God is not incomplete, or God is not lonely. But if we go back to the Greeks with the way that they view agape, it's the deity is expressed as being pure and complete and unmoved and doesn't lack anything. So divine agape is not filling a gap; it's just overflowing abundance, I guess
Yes.
you could say.
Ooh, I like that.
Mhm.
So it's a natural extension, right?
Yeah, it's not I need you for this. It's I wish and will good upon you because goodness flows from me, or at least that's what make me feel better at night.
Mhm.
So
Beneficence.
King of
Beneficent.
Cups. King of Cups.
Ooh, nice. So when you look at it in terms of, let's just say, a religious aspect, right? We actually do cite in the Masonic Lodge the concept of faith, hope, and charity. Charity being a King James version adaptation of what was originally there, which was love. And what kind of love was in the original Greek? Agape. So when you hear
Agape.
faith, when you hear faith, hope, and charity, it's actually talking about faith, hope, and this unconditional love. Yeah. So that's what we're teaching. We're not teaching our brothers to actually be charitable, because
Right.
we've had a huge conversation before, and it's worth revisiting, because Masonic charity does not mean giving things. It has evolved into that, and from a fraternal and social aspect, but it actually, the source of it comes from faith, hope, and agape. So that's what we're
Should be a
charged
natural
to do.
extension
Right.
of
And if charity happens,
agape.
sure. And so
It's a
when you
byproduct.
it's a byproduct of agape. And when you pull the thread on that, then you also find agape in different contexts as well. If you're going to use the New Testament as an example, when Jesus says, love your enemies, guess which form of love he means? He means unconditionally love your enemies, not just tolerate them, not just like them like a brother. No. Unconditionally love your enemies. Holy smokes. That's hard.
Forgive them 77 times 7, right?
Yeah, that's right. And also,
even
another
cat owners,
even cat owners,
I love you, Jason.
especially
Love you, Jason.
cat owners.
Mm-hmm.
I
And-
gave you.
I love my cats. So
Unconditionally.
I arrows you.
The Now,
you've
Also-
agaped me before.
once in the book of John, where John
Hold
21,
it together, John.
where Jesus is talking to Peter. This is something I did early on as a young baby Christian. I'm like reading this, and Jesus is like, "Hey Peter, do you love me?" He's like, "Yeah, I love you." He's like, "No, do you love me?" Peter's like, "Yeah, I love you." And he's like, "No, do you love me?" He's like, "Yeah, I love you." I'm like, "Yeah, we could have cut this conversation short like 2 sentences ago." But when you translate it, Jesus is asking Peter, "Do you agape me?" And Peter responds, "Of course, I philia you." And Jesus is like, no, you didn't hear me. Do you agape me? And so Peter responds with the brotherly love instead of the unconditional love.
Yeah. Which is
Do
interesting, right?
we?
Johann Wolfgang von Goethe once he's quoted as saying something along the lines of, "To tolerate is to insult."
Ooh, say more.
Well, the whole idea is he says, you know, to tolerate me is to insult me, because it's not. You might love me as a brother, but if you don't love me unconditionally, with everything that you are and with everything that you know of me, then you're merely tolerating, which is insulting. Because why don't you just love who I am? I've done you no wrong. I try to live a good life, you know, whatever the cost, you know, it would be. Also a bro. So it was just interesting, right? Because you said it's not tolerating, right? It's really loving.
Do we know if Aramaic has a similar kind of breakout of different words for love?
That's a great question.
I don't know.
Joe knows everything.
No, I do not know
He's a
Aramaic.
spoken Aramaic, ostensibly.
Yeah, that is true.
I mean, again, oral
I
tradition.
really didn't write in Aramaic, so that's the rub.
Well,
Mhm.
according
What?
to
I just said oral tradition.
according to some very good, what is some very good perplexity, it says Aramaic does talk about love in more than one way, but it doesn't have like a very neat or widely used for loves schema like the Greek. So they
Okay.
have one typical word, which is huba or hoba, which is a general word for love used in Syriac Christian texts, and it means both divine love and human love. And then they have chav, which is to love, which is sometimes connected to the idea of giving. And the other one is raham, or which is carries the sense of tender, compassionate, womb-like love or deep mercy, especially used for God's compassionate love. So that's interesting.
Womb-like. Yeah, that's an interesting metaphor.
Womb-like, yeah, that's interesting, right? Because it's like the all-encompassing. You remember the song he used to sing? He's got the whole world at his hands. Kind of feels like that.
Big hug, nice warm hug. So the question, pop quiz for you guys, of these definitions, where do you fall with your Masonic brethren on these levels of love? Because we could go with the textbook answer. The ritual says that faith, hope, charity means agape, means unconditional. There are admittedly brothers that I tolerate, and there's other brothers that I agape, and everywhere in between. What say you?
I think it's different forms of love for different relationships with brothers. And you can't fit every single brother that you know or that is in your circle in one of the in more than one of those buckets, right? Or maybe you could, but it doesn't encompass, like, you can't have agape for every single Mason that you've met or know out in the world, even though we should, because we have this thing that gets in the way called our brain, that takes those feelings and tries to put words around them. So I think it's a little bit of all of them for me.
As much as we want to, kind of romanticize the idea of this shared initiatic experience that binds us all together, and it does, but it's an intrinsically weak bond. I think you have the option of meeting a lot of like-minded people who have the same shared experience, and that becomes an anchor point for friendships and relationships that become agape relationships. But I was talking to Chad Kapinski about something yesterday, and he was talking about another brother. He's like, "Oh, he's harmless," and my response to that was, "Many Masons aren't." So, I think it really very much depends on the relationship. If we're talking about the ideal, like, yes, we would have agape for everyone, but we're not living in the ideal.
I'm not that enlightened yet, man. Sorry to say. Hope to
Right.
get there one day,
Keep
but
working.
not there. I will.
Oh yeah, okay, but so here's the thing, right? These masonry, we're supposed to take good men and make them better. Now I'm going to quote Friedrich Nietzsche. He says, thus spoke Zarathustra. He says, I teach you the Superman. Man is something that is to be surpassed. What have ye done to surpass man? And he goes on to say, all beings hitherto have created something beyond themselves, and ye want to be the ebb of that great tide, and would rather go back to the beast than surpass man. And so the reason I bring this up is because we should strive, always be striving to love the people we find hardest to love.
I agree.
But again, we are at a current but acknowledging that we're at a current biological state in our evolution where our brains just don't operate altruistically, contrary to what we want to believe.
Right.
And so we can really push for it, and we can try and do all this mental gymnastics. But at the end of the day, we are aspiring to do those things for no reason, even though we have a reason. And so the important part, the reason why I quoted this was because this speaks to the idea of, yeah, it's hard and we're not there, but it doesn't mean we shouldn't try.
Agreed.
There you go.
100%.
So I guess the corollary question is there a minimum success criteria for a basic level of brotherly love? What does that look like? Because again, there are Masons that I don't prefer to be in the same room with. I will be in a room with them in lodge, and I will call them the brother that they are, and that's about it, So is there what is that like lowest level of transactional brotherly love to at least acknowledge that in a fraternity we have to agree to this minimum standard of tolerance with each other?
The minimum.
Does this assume the brothers current on their dues?
Yes.
Look, I say that to
Yeah.
to highlight the banality of
That's why it's
this
transactional,
conversation,
because
right?
they literally pay their dues. So that makes
It makes it cool. Like if
have
they're
to
behind
say-
on their dues, they think you suck.
Adds them to the love book when they paid their dues. If they've NPD'd, screw them.
NPD. Yeah, that's funny.
I don't love you no more.
It's a standard we hold ourselves to, right, wrong, or indifferent. Mm-hmm.
I feel like the base level is maybe the Greek. I'm sure they have a word for this, but it's not. I don't know that it qualifies as love because it's more than tolerance. To me, it's more. It's like cordial. Is there? Yeah, Brad. That's right. Yeah, one guy,
Lowercase b.
one dude, one time attempted to say he was going to bring me up on Masonic charges for saying that there are capital letter bros and lowercase letter bros. A long time ago, but it was funny. But that's true. Yeah, but what do you? Is there a Greek equivalent to like a love that means cordiality, right?
I wouldn't try to. Yeah, I wouldn't try to lump John's the answer to John's question in the 4 types of love that we talked about. I mean, I would have to say it would
It's
be
hard.
love of utility. You know, it's
Right.
if you want that bare minimum.
Right.
You know, I value you for what you provide. Right. It's love of utility.
Mhm.
It seems kind of well. You know what? I think we answered the question. I think that's the love that most of the people we meet espouse, right? That love of utility. You're in this room with me because you paid your dues and
Mhm.
you get a seat at the table and you get to wear an apron, and that's about it, right? But as soon as you go outside, I'm going to talk shit about you, right? So it's just that transactional utility love. So the Greeks probably don't have a word for it because that sucks. So
Andre, thank you for your flair. Yeah, it was good.
Nice.
37 pieces of flair.
So a couple little thoughts and questions before we start to wrap up. Do you have to have agape for yourself before you can give to others?
Ooh, isn't this? There's a word for that. There's another Greek word for that.
Oh, it is. It's
I'm not
Philiotia.
Yeah, Philiudia or
Mhm.
Philiutia. I don't know how to say it. I didn't do
Which is
Greek.
self-love. This is the practice of self-care and self-compassion. The Greeks believed that one must love themselves and feel comfortable in their own skin before they can truly love others.
Yeah, just like on an airplane, right?
Gotta
Put
put
your
your
mask on
own.
first before helping others. And love is flowing, even though the bag does not inflate.
Nice.
love that.
And then speaking of Chad Kopensky, says, you'll see some guys with 2,000 Facebook friends, but how many people could they truly rely on when the chips are down? We have these strong ties and weak ties in any of our network of friends and relationships. And that's also true for the fraternity as well, I would say.
It would have been so
Well,
much better
then-
if they just named it Acquaintance Book. You know,
Not-
yeah,
Well, it's not friend book, right?
Well,
It is
yeah.
Facebook.
yeah. But like, I
But
know
you don't
this
friend
person.
them, right? Yeah, but
Yeah, you know them.
yes. I may have different categories of friend because you can put friends in different friend lists. I literally have one that's acquaintances.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what's interesting about that is how many brothers could I call? And
Right.
I think we analytically I sort of like I put people in under different umbrellas. Would I take a bullet for you, or maybe just a shopping cart to the ankle? My wife.
Oh,
I would take both.
Oh, that's just
so
so sweet.
the
depends. Where's the bullet going?
In the ankle.
hopefully just right through my
Maybe if it's a grazing.
It's just a
Just
flesh
little-
wound. I'll take that for you.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, there's a number for this, and I'm surprised John hasn't said it yet. Right? There's
Dunbar's
there's the
number.
Dunbar number.
Dunbar's
The
number.
Dunbar number,
Yes.
right?
Got
And what does Dunbar say? It was I think it was like
It's roughly 125.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's social friends, right? And then from there you can have like 10 or 15 close friends, and then
Mhm.
but I think the number was as low as 5 intimate core lasting relationships, right?
Yep.
5. So anybody with more than 5 Facebook friends, make that list, like John said, put them in buckets,
Mhm.
because
Well,
we know
let's-
you're lying.
Like when I think about, okay, I'm broke down on the side of the road. Who am I calling?
Right. Of all your bros.
Because I'll tell you what, I'm not going to call my wife. Not that she wouldn't come and help, but like my bros, my bros wouldn't want me to call my wife. Big brother Bob would tell me, "Why didn't you call me? I'm 10 minutes away.
Yeah, I got you, bro.
I got you, bro."
Mhm.
You know, and it's just so funny.
I feel like
depending
that's
on
bordering on misogynist.
it maybe.
Women can change a tire too. You know that.
They sure can. My wife mows the lawn, bro.
Mhm.
I do the dishes sometimes.
You hold the flashlight while Corey.
I hold
changes
up
tire.
mirrors to redirect the sunlight. Yeah, that's what I do.
Final question for tonight.
Ooh.
And so we have your opinion, your thoughts on how does the mystic tie fit into the concepts of brotherly love? Is there a correlation? Is there a coincidence? What say you? How is the concept of a mystic tie related to or different from brotherly love? Who's going first?
I am.
Ooh. Excellent.
Mystic tie creates compatibility through shared experience and consolidation of individuals with like value systems, which creates the environment for brotherly love and agape to grow. So,
All right. So it could be a
it
precursor.
creates it's like a brotherly love watch versus a brotherly love warning, right? Brotherly love watch is okay, the ingredients exist for people to develop close relationships. And a brotherly love warning is like whenever I see Joe and he's like, I'm incoming. Give me a hug.
Nice. Awesome. And I'm glad you said it that way too, because I think just another little anecdote when I was thinking about this show was some of my early experiences of being a young baby Mason, first year of being a master Mason. I'd see these guys come in and just give bear hugs to each other. I'm like, what kind of group is this? Like, you don't do that, at the bar, you don't do that at work, but you see these guys just stroll in and we'll just give each other big hugs, and that's something different. It was something special to look forward to. Who's next? Robert? Joe?
I guess I can. I throw something out there. I think Jason really set the bar of where I started to think about this, which was the mystic tie as a shared experience, but not the experience itself, the invisible sort of rope that's tied around us all, like that we know what we all went through. And it is exactly that sacred and inviolable bond which brings men, what we say, of the most discordant opinion into one band of brothers, which gives one language to men of all nations. And that is a sort of a mystery influence. It exerts this, that's the mystic tie. And Freemasons, because we are under that influence and enjoy its benefits, that is the sort of camp in which things build in terms of love. So, like, I would say that if in this sense the ideal Mason is moving from his initial investiture in Masonry, coming in, and he moves through natural processes of love. So going from storge and fraternal philia toward a more universal agape, it sort of builds, right? And then as he becomes a member, we go back to that classical example of eros, the passion for the craft, the passion for the ritual, the passion for trying to embody all those altruistic things even though we know we'll never get there. Um, that's what I'll try to say.
Well said.
Wow.
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 Follow that,
Um,
Joe.
Hi. Yeah, it's hard to top that. I think for me it's a little bit different. I think for me the mystic tie is not rooted in emotion, right? It's not about liking one another. It's not that we have shared values. Um, it's a bond that is rooted in coming together towards something greater than yourself, right? So a lot of the things we talked about today, for me, those different types of love, they're horizontal, right? They're built on benefit or enjoyment or personality or shared history, right? I think the mystic tie brings in a vertical dimension, right? So you and another person are connected not just to each other, um, in one of those forms of love, but through a shared commitment to something greater than yourself, right? And that's why certain bonds feel deeper than explanation, right? And we're talking about this concept of the mystic tie, which so many people find so hard to explain. They just say the words, right?
Exactly.
But the mystic tie isn't comfort based, it's calling based, right? So to tie it together to the different types of love, because I think you see it in the mystic tie. Brotherly love begins with philia, right? The commitment to each other's growth. I think we deepen that connection through agape, right? When that friendship starts to become sacrificial, right? When we serve one another, when we forgive one another, and then we give without expecting return. To Robert's point, he made a very good point. It's um, it's made exciting, or it's energized by eros, that shared longing for something greater, that hunger, that passion, that not being complacent. And then I think finally it's woven together by storge, right? That quiet affection that grows from laboring together over time, and enduring the company of one another in that shared experience. So when those four things are present, that friendship, that sacrifice, that aspiring, and that shared history, that's when something happens, right? And that's the mystic tie for me.
The mystic tie is besos from Juan Sepulveda.
Mwah.
Brother Juan. Muchos besos. Awesome. Over to me. That is Mystic Tie is Storge. There you go. End of discussion. No, but well said by all the other brethren. I appreciate
job,
you. I love you guys. You guys are awesome. So that's all I got, because you guys took it all. You said it all. But this has been a great episode. I love how we broke things down. I love how we built up the different levels of love, from transactional and duty based because they're part of a fraternity, all the way up to unconditional love, which is really hard to do. But one day we'll get there. And I love you guys. All of you listening, all of you watching. You guys are great. So with that, I want to thank you all very much for watching. Keep searching for more light. Have a good night.
Wow.